Ladies and gentlemen, the Queen, the seasonal speech, spring 2015. Good day to you. Once again, it is a festive time for many people. Once again, we have moved to our months for the season. Once again, we have taken our walks to the nearby cemetery. Not that nearby in fact, but within a reasonable walking distance. Half an hour should be enough. We have put flowers in the vases at our dad's grave, the narcissus and twigs with their little yellow flowers. Just before the Easter, we committed another book hunt, saying the flowers were so miserable, our dad deserved something far better than that. Dear Narcissus, please take an apology. What we really meant was we had spent the extra money on eyeshadows and lipsticks, thus having not much enough left for the flowers. And so we could not buy many enough. Beautiful as you yourself alone are. No Iron Man. And as far as the flowers go, we would rather they were not artificial. In the end, the vases looked fine with you and your modest company. Please excuse their part. We hope you are not hurt. It has been a quarter of the year since our New Life speech, with the turning point at the turning of the year. The tables should have been turning fast. Disappointingly, they have not turned. So it is time, the right time, to review the new path and some of the wisdom received since now. To start with, in December, we came up with a new idea of resolving our situation. That was absolutely the last lifebelt for the Polish authorities. The next step is our legal appeal to the United Nations proper organ. The European Union level being quite the same problem as Poland, boiling down to economy. Our offer, as on Facebook, was arranging a half-official meeting with Jacek Cichocki, who used to be the head of all special and standard forces responsible for preventing crime and safeguarding law and order in Poland. The idea behind was the confrontation with the competent professional at the high enough level to establish facts and wipe out the lies that had become the rationale for the 6-year torture, specifically persistent mental harassment, plus a few more or less serious categories of crime. some of them easier to prove with factual documentation available, some of them more complex, needing top legal expertise and proper witnesses in the persons of high-level officials and scientists. For instance, to prove the occurrence of purposeful conditioning carried out on an innocent person to turn her into a perverted person, specifically a pedophile, we would need a specialist in the newest development in the science of brain and a high echelon CIA specialist, plus an open process with journalists from all over the world. We are sure the authorities of Russia and China, schooled on human rights, would be grateful for the insight into their teachers' practice of this on their own ground. Please do not get offended. We constitute a breakthrough case, and we are fully aware of that. For the first time in the free Poland, a completely innocent person, an honest person, a noble person, a righteous person, a paradigm of virtue, became the victim of heavy surveillance and persecution, which have been going on for over 6 years now. Evidence against us has been fabricated. Let us emphasize it. Are winning the case on the high plane, which safeguards our eventual victory here, whether this lifetime or posthumously, required a talent hardly ever present in human. It is a private individual against the professional machine of interlinked special forces agents in Poland and abroad, alike or not. Unthinkable indeed. Honesty pays. Make sure you translate it correctly when you do. The way we imagined our meeting with Jacek Cichocki was sitting at the same table with a recording device on the table next to us, so that it could not be manipulated in terms of cuts of the text spoken during the meeting, with the copy of the recording going straight from the recording device into our very hands. It was to safeguard against possible manipulation of the data from the meeting. The meeting was to take place on the neutral ground, even though it is obvious the person is far more powerful than we are, no matter where we live. Still, we believe we could manage it once the recording was to be complete and unabridged, by saying what was going on with the record should manipulation occur, and getting the recording through thorough specialist examination against possible superior manipulation afterwards. We put the information on our Facebook profile in the knowledge of having been closely surveyed for a long time. Also, for the record of other countries' special forces finding information on us and the development of the case in Poland. Needless to say, the Republic of Poland has been intrusive with regard to us. The Queen, functioning in Poland as the citizen Agnieszka Rolik, born on the 27th of September 1974 in Krakow. We need to apply all possible measures to counteract the measures taken against us with the ulterior motive, namely with the intention of effecting our incapacitation, physical and mental disability or invalidity, and death, supported with analogous actions taken against our beloved man, who does not have our awareness, skills, health, and strength. We are not in the condition to counteract these as an individual private person. The forces employed in the effort to annihilate us have been disproportionate. From the data we have gathered so far, the main areas from which actions have been being developed against us are: A. Our supposed pedophilia. Specific issues here are lack of due diligence, acting ultra-vires, slander and libel, criminal conditioning, mental harassment, framing, targeted public hatred, lynch, incapacitation. B. Our involvement with the Church of Scientology. Specific issues: lack of due diligence, acting ultra-vires, slander and libel, discrimination, antagonization, group hatred instigations, persecution, incapacitation. C. Are covered service for foreign governments, for instance, Russia. Specific issues: lack of due diligence, framing, group hatred, inclusion, mobbing. D. Communism. Specific issues: acting ultra-vires, slander, libel, mobbing, persecution, lynch, attempted murder. E. Our supposed mental disorder, different from the above-mentioned pedophilia. Specific issues: acting ultra-vires, the intentional development of a psychiatric disorder leading to hopelessness and suicide in consequence, attempted murder through stroke, affecting the brain and heart, long-term exposition to extreme stress causing stress-related diseases, the wreckage of our nervous system, incapacitation in terms of employability and credibility, slander and libel. F. Our supposed incompetence and character deficiencies as the reasons for our work problems. Specific issues: displacing blame, slander and libel, mobbing, punishable threats, discrimination, persecution. G. Are reported international prostitution, specific issues, lack of due diligence, acting ultra-vires, top echelon mobbing, possible rape and murder design, incapacitation, and of course, slander and libel. H. Further false reports aimed at further damage to our reputation. Needless to say, we are totally innocent, decent, honorable, and sane. Employable provided the employer is ethically constructible and the job within our competence range. Equally needless or necessary perhaps is to mention that it does not take 6 years and repeated testing to establish if one is a pedophile or not. Furthermore, resolving the problem of our involvement with the Church of Scientology requires one interview at the nearby police station, where the data can be supplied and verified in the respective organization. Who needs 6 years not to arrive at the simple solution? We hope we could cover the subjects to Marek Jacek-Cichocki's full satisfaction at the meeting. Curiously enough, to all appearances, our offer to solve the problem that compromises Poland for decades to come has been turned into a sex offer by appropriate secret service forces apart from Kuba Wojewódzki and company. That contribution we have spotted. We wonder why. Incidentally, should Mr. Cichocki have proposed marriage to us, we would have considered, no doubt. But do not expect us to convert, either literally or metaphorically. We hope it is real. No say that it was our initiative. If it was not yours, we're talking about the sex offer now, identify, punish, and incapacitate the impersonation behind. Celebrities and the anonymous or Assanges, with former Scientologists acting for them now, rank top. The former WSI WSE Polish WSE agent follow. The information about our interest in our prospective husband has been included in our earlier profiles under life. It seems valid to check what we have there once you have started the surveillance in depth, or is it not? We must confess we believed we would be put under protection that would cut off the people abusing us completely, so that we could get back what is ours. whatever that resembles the loving atmosphere, beauty, and joy of life, safety, peace, and quiet we had been enjoying till 2008. That has not been the case. Actually, it has become worse again. One point to be made here, the speech was written on the 6th of April, so there have been some changes since, and it's not stable still, but there has been a significant improvement on the whole. However, it needs to be emphasized that the recurrence of the precise attacks to evoke, to effect the stabilization seems to be a measure taken on regular basis, whatever the motivation behind. This is a fully intentional design execution of a plan behind, of a scheme aimed at destroying us and depriving us of our life. As I said, the protection we were hoping for did not follow. Actually, it has become worse again. Not as bad as it used to be at times in the period of 2011 to 2014, but bad enough. We have been disappointed in our last try, which has established our relationship with the country for good. We are going to assume the condition of inward emigration, where we become inactive politically, though busy in our own daily life. Like Professor Grammar, immersed in his Middle Ages study. From the lifelong course towards the publico bono, we are turning into the focus on our own and our family's good. However, we still exclude the possibility of crooked ethics for gain. We are switching into a business mode and we intend to work conscientiously earning money for our future in a new homeland, which we are planning to reach in 10 years. We know our legal situation in the essence, and the legal situation in Poland in general. There seems to be very little correspondence between the two at the moment. Additionally, it appears to be more and more certain that claiming justice in the court of law or public appeals pose danger to life, one's own and one's family's. That realization has been truly hair-raising, but enlightening at the same time. As for our public relations, contrary to what many believe, we have achieved our purpose. We have delivered the valid truth comprehensively in many ways. There are our videos, which we started producing in 2013 and posting at our third profile, plus our photo albums and notes with valid information in a few languages, up to our current 6th Facebook profile. This is reliable evidence and the evidence sufficient enough for specialists aiming at finding the truth behind rather than framing us into psychiatric disorder and crimes or public hatred instigators who have meant taking the situation far enough to effect a rape or murder. The actual harassment affected includes rapes. Let us emphasize once again that we reported possible crimes with a designed harmful action against us starting in 2009, if not earlier. Both the police and the prosecutor we talked to in person neglected the December 2011 alarm, which is when we reported the crime. We were ridiculed, with the mass media ridicule turning into a ridicule festival on the international scene. But many continents involved, not Europe only. Furthermore, we believe Polish politicians have been involved in lobbying against us on the international scene at the heads of the states level, the summit meetings. Mind you, we have been the queen of Agripolitania since the establishment of Agripos in December 2013, and yet there is no Agripolitania on the map. There is a private individual, Agnieszka Rojek, aged 40, registered as the rightful citizen of Poland, which makes the authorities of Poland responsible for her safety, health, and life. We are aware that the proper mental disorder would discharge the Polish authorities disgrace of the multi-talent, having been unemployed since 2009 and suffering mistreatment at the workplace, and with all political parties that matter in Poland these days involved. The mistreatment could be dismissed as the insane woman's imagination, the unemployment justified as resulting from the disability or unemployability conditioned by the mental disorder. Things being what they are, we are dealing with unjustified restriction of the sane and innocent person's freedom with scandalous invasion into her private and intimate life and unjustifiable abuse that falls in the legal category of torture. Our enemies have been generous, not only in the regular abuse, but in the intimidation fired at us as well. We have reached the point where we do not care too much who shall protect and support us, as long as someone does. The force employed against us makes our decision fully rightly, justified, and legal. We have the inalienable right to defend our health and life and seek protection for our family. Your attempts at accusing us of terrorism are ridiculous in the light of the terrorism you have exercised on us. Blame yourselves, not us. We expect your full and complete withdrawal from our space and our hearing range, plus restoration of our peace and quiet, apart from restoring healthy life conditions for us, the Queen, and our beloved Mother. That concerns the people abusing us, of course. You are guilty in both cases. Furthermore, we expect your protection of our and our mom's security for the rest of our lives, including supervision over the appropriate hospital treatment, because this is how far it goes. This is where the tentacles have reached, should one or the other need end. Of course, the people behind the instigations of hostility against us and the law need to be identified and incapacitated. So there is a difference between a misinformed person and a person who are acting purposefully to misinform. It is not only about our safety, it concerns each and every person having the courage to say the truth about the social and political life in our free Poland country. Nowadays, you may get killed or incapacitated for life, with your family killed or incapacitated as well, for expressing an opinion with the wrong selection of words, or drawing a cartoon and publishing it on your under 50 friends list Facebook profile site. Actually, you can get killed or incapacitated for any Facebook comment, no matter its intent, meaning, or content, with the criminal running free just because the criminal cannot read and understand what they read, or because they get incorrect translations. This is the state of law in Poland we are living in. So, let us get back to the legal reality. To leave the land of absurd and paranoia where the insane criminal, quite often a sadist, runs free in the country or even runs the country free and state the case clearly. If they do not like a cartoon, the police can call us in and ask questions about our intentions, thus aiming to resolve the case. We can be told to take the cartoon off and warned against possible measures taken by the state in the future, should what someone considers a violation of their sentiment occur again. That is the most you were allowed to effect in the country, claiming the law and order organizing principle. And even here, the police intervention might pose questions in our hands, apart from creating the dilemma over the human rights guarantee of liberties, the one in question being the freedom of expression. We would point out to the appropriate police officer while dealing with a famous or infamous European Union cartoon that we were responding to the Sunday 8 p.m. cabaret, where the left wing aimed and shot another arrow at the dignity of decent women willing to live their life freely, without ostracism, instigated by the public opinion leaders, still professionally, down from the mass media current agenda joke killers. We would state our case saying that we did not remain silent in the face of the Virgin, the teacher being thrown on her knees in the alcoholic inability to walk erect, that we refused to concede to the Virgin being theorized as weak, pathetic, and, excuse our directness, left with nothing better than the company of complete unattractive drunk half-brains, representing other teachers. That we objected to the Virgin, the teacher, being presented as unethical enough to get herself drunk at the school trip, with the children doing what they will unwatched and unattended, while she is taking her pathetic knee walk, half conscious of what is going on due to the abuse of alcohol. Last but not least, that we had the courage and the brains to stand up against the forces of evil behind the degradation of the Virgin aimed at sacrilege and desecrating of what for the honorable is taboo and sacred. That we were brave enough to throw the offenders on the metaphorical mattress in the powerful judo slide by finding something that is taboo and sacred for those claiming there was none. Does that response prove they respect and honor our rights? Our rights. We have expressed our informed opinion about the EU social life. That is all. As for the war, we ourselves got involved in the war over dignity via our former so-called best friend, Alexandra Kimchak, years earlier, when she produced the statement which is the declaration of the war. If it is over, dignity, respect, and freedom of choice. It is a disgrace to be a virgin at the age of 20. That gave us right to conquer the whole, whereas we had been speaking of a variety of lifestyles so far. You erected the wall. We put there the notice, saying you were no longer welcome in our world, expressing the thought in the language and fashion of your own. Stop being hypocritical about it. Your supporting either Alexandra or us in 2012 was a valid piece of information, creating the puzzle image to be analyzed before we move on to organize our future life. obviously we expected a different result, just as we had expected a totally different response from our former pupils on our second Facebook profile, the Bint Abiha one. You say Ola has won. We say no. She has got your support and protection, while you have lost all by supporting and protecting Ola. And that remains the valid bankruptcy entry concerning your shares in our own public accountancy books. Supporting and protecting her today, when the data compiled and easily accessible is clear and unequivocal, tells us all we need to know who you really are. If there were 1,000,000 people and we remained the lonely island, being the only person supporting us, the majority would not make her and you all together right. Which is why we have selected queenship and queendom as our new anchor points in life. Democracy is too incorrect, too brutal, too abusive, entirely unjust. In short, unreliable enough. How to run a queendom is another question, but we shall not be bothering you with the many question marks now, which is what we would like to announce in fact. Due to our most dramatic financial situation, with our political and social situation not resolving to our satisfaction, we have decided to change the focus once again. Of course, our kingdom of Agnipolitania has been established well. Should we die today, the guidelines have been provided, and our kind of person receives the gift. Little do we care about others nowadays, apart from our family, who are our flesh and blood. In other words, the work can be taken over by our followers. Truly, we would rather continue our creation ourselves, our way, and so we keep on climbing in due time. For now, we are turning our powerful voice down to get busy with our business life. In the meantime, you can get better acquainted with our royal sites and check them for further updates. Should you translate our speech or just read and listen to it, make sure you do not deduce the meaning of the unknown words or grammar from the context on the basis of your general knowledge. That approach has been thoroughly compromised, and the consequences are criminal. Do you still feel like schooling up? While we are absent, remember no comment is free, and every comment counts. Ladies and gentlemen, the Buddha is going back to the palace. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye. So this is the speech we wrote on the 6th of April, and there have been some changes, some improvements in our life. Still, the speech remains valid, and our situation has not thoroughly resolved either. Some people believe that there's a possibility, a chance of returning to what used to be, to how we used to treat people in general, to the ideas we were living day by day, to our form of involvement, to our form of communication. Let us put it straight. When we meet people in the street, we meet as an individual person and we communicate with the very person. This is being here and now. However, we have a completely new knowledge of life nowadays. And it is impossible to act as we used to act. As I said once, altruism requires believing people are good. Have you been good to us? See you next time.